Hi, my friends. It's Meredith, your evolutionary astrologer, and welcome back to my series, The Pain and Pitfalls of Dating a Libra. Today, we're going to go into a deeper dive on why is it hard to fall in love? What is painful about falling madly in love with a Libra? Doesn't everybody think dating a Libra should be just so perfect and so balanced? And they're the relationship sign, right? So what could possibly go wrong? Well, we are going to explore it together in this video. I hope you're loving the series. This is unedited, so you get bloopers and all. Forgive me for my gaffes. Forgive me for my flaws and mistakes, because there will surely be some. But I wanted you to have a deeper understanding of how the shadow side operates with Libra. And if you are a Libra, or you have your sun, moon, rising, or a lot of planets, doesn't matter what sign, in the seventh house, this is the video for you. Also, if you're in love with a Libra, it doesn't matter if it's a platonic or sexual relationship, and you really want to understand the motivations of your Libra and why it's so damn hard being in love with them. Like, where does this pain come from? Am I losing my mind? No, you're not. But if you really want to understand the unhealthy shadow side, dive in with me. These videos are thirsty work. So we're going to talk about the painful beauty of loving a Libra. I'm going to give you 10 reasons why it hurts so good, and how to sort of navigate the delicate balance of loving a Libra. Now, this is not the virtue video. So if you want to go see the virtues, I have an entire Libra playlist. I recommend you watch it. I really recommend, if you want to understand why Libras are just so, go watch my Libra rising video. I live with two of them. I understand Libra really, really well. And I'm going to give you the truthful dirt on this beautiful sign. So, like, to be drawn into a Libra's love life, a Libra's heart. First of all, Libras are one of the hardest. I know this is going to sound crazy, but they're one of the hardest signs to land. Why? Because they're fickle. So it's this ever shifting, fickle dance of beauty and diplomacy and yearning and a romance wreathed in harmony. Yet it's shadowed in deep pain. It really is. Libras are ruled by Venus, the planet of love and money, right? Everything that's sweet, everything that you desire. And they're celebrated for their charm, their idealism, and their sense of fairness. But beneath the surface of their gracious, graceful demeanor lies this really complex emotional terrain where love is not always effortless. It's not always as it seems. And that is what is so painful. So, we're going to talk about why the ache is just so, why it is both enchanting and full of ache at the same time. This, I would say, is called melancholy, bittersweet melancholy. First, it's the shadow of indecision. Libras are so fickle, they are so indecisive, and they are notoriously known for weighing every option and being wishy-washy. Wishy-washy Libras, right? Considering every single possible outcome before making a move. Now, I do credit Virgos in my Libras in my other videos, my other Libra videos, where I talk about how I think this is one of the most intelligent signs of the entire zodiac, because they have high EQs and high IQs. But just like a border collie, just like a Jack Russell Terrier, just like an Australian Shepherd, it gets them into trouble. They get bored very, very easily. They can outmaneuver anybody. They have the highest emotional IQ, I think, of the entire zodiac. And they can wear multiple faces. So we're going to go into it. But they have a relentless pursuit of balance. And this is what makes them indecisive, especially with matters of the heart. So for their partners, waiting and wanting and begging and salivating for Libra to make a decision, whether it's about dinner or whether it's about, do you accept me, or a major life change, or like the future of your relationship, it can just be an agonizing. It can feel like they're just going in circles. So the desire to please both sides, you and them, can leave you feeling stranded on an island called Uncertainty Island, right? Like the jury's still out and you're longing for a definitive answer, and you already have your definitive answer. Well, that takes a bold leap of faith for Libra to do. That feels really scary. That feels like you're jumping off the cliff and you don't know if the bungee cord is really attached to you. That's how hard it is for Libra to make a decision. Like, really think about that. Making a decision closes them off from all other opportunities, and that is scary as hell. So for many, this uncertainty can feel like emotional limbo, where progress just comes to a screeching halt and hope is suspended and you're waiting for the Libra to tip the scale in one way or another. And they just really, really struggle because this is the most, I think, fear-inducing thing for a Libra, to make a full-blown lifelong commitment. If we're just talking about dinner, they can get through it. But if we're talking about a commitment for forever, now we're going to have a full-blown panic attack because it's going to close me off from other options and I'm going to be really uncomfortable. The second hardest thing I think about dealing with a Libra is their need for harmony at all costs. Their need for harmony is so enormous. It is the main the fuel that they put into their engine, and they crave peace and they detest conflict. They don't know how to handle conflict. There are deeper motivations why they can't handle conflict, but they feel like conflict is a statement about something being inherently wrong. And so while this makes them really skillful diplomats, they can create spin, they're really good at false flattery if it can open up doors, but it can also mean that they suppress, this is so true, their true feelings to avoid unnecessary or necessary conflicts or confrontations. They would rather not tell you what they really think about you than have you end up with hurt feelings, and then they have to deal with your emotional crisis around them not liking something about you, and they don't want to deal with that. They will run away. They will totally ghost you if they have to. So when an issue arises, the Libra's instinct is to, brush it under the carpet, or I think deflect, change the subject. They're not going to address things that are going to create conflict head on, not until they're at the end of their rope and they have nothing to lose. That's their last resort. And so this can lead to festering resentments and partners feeling unheard. And their real concerns are just lost to Libra's quest for superficial tranquility. It's true. That's a driver in their life. Imagine, for instance, a couple like trying to just decide something simple, like a movie to watch, right? The Libra weighs the pros and cons, and the Aries is just like, just pick that. We have 1,000 nights to watch movies. It's not the last night of our life. Just pick whatever. And the Libra's weighing the pros and cons of every genre. Like, how about romantic comedy? How about a rom-com? No. How about a documentary? No, that's too heavy. How about action? Oh, that's too loud. While their partner, literally like ages a decade, gets gray hair waiting for the Libra to decide. And in the end, they settle on some middle of the road, boring movie that neither person likes. Being involved with a Libra is like nobody ever wins because it's always filled with compromise. It's not their way or your way. It's like a blended way, and then nobody gets their way. Why not give me my way, make me happy today, and we'll make you happy tomorrow, and then we're both living in a fulfilling week, right? But when we're both living in the gray area, 7 days of that, nobody ever got their way. Nobody's happy. So constant compromise like that leaves room for developing a really boring life. And so you're living in that gray area until the next decision is, what do you want for dinner? Oh my God, I want pasta, you want steak. So now we're eating tofu. Nobody wants the tofu, right? So it's this moderation that can actually destroy relationships, harmony at all costs. So I would say the next thing is they have a highly, highly refined mask that they wear, and this mask is very endearing, but it creates charm. It's the mask of charm, and it creates this magnetic allure, and they have wit and grace and elegance and tact, and they can make anyone feel special, and they can draw admirers from every single corner of the world. I mean, I am telling you, the snakes will come out from the grass, the ants will come out from their, ant hills, like the rabbits will come out. I mean, from nowhere, like, where were all these people? But when the Libra's charm is on, it's like, whoa, they get admirers, and they like this. They like to make people feel special so they can draw admirers from every corner of the world. But the same charm, which is just abundant, right, can leave insecure partners feeling more insecure. So you need a very, very confident partner to deal with the flirtations and the charm. These Libras are like snake charmers. So you got to have a confident partner. And if you don't, this will leave a Libra partner feeling really deflated. This could even leave a parent feeling deflated by the attention the child gets. And the parents are just like they're treated like the bottom of an old shoe. While the kid is just right elevated to these high degrees, and then the parent just becomes the background. So this sort of envy of charm, and the charm isn't even totally real, can affect even relationships that are not romantic. But the Libras, I'm going to be honest with you, the Libras flirtatiousness or flirtatious nature is actually kind of harmless. They don't really want to have sex with another person if they're happy with you. They're not really looking to cheat or looking to diminish you in any way, but it can blur boundaries, and it can sow the seeds of jealousy, envy, and doubt. And it can erode others if you don't have a confident partner, right? The Libra erodes relationships by flirting with life. And so loving a Libra means that you have to learn to trust their sincerity behind their smile, behind their joy with you, even when all of that charm and all of that flirtatious, fun, lively, I love you energy is shared with other people, is shared with the world, right? So, at the heart of the constant charmer lies a deeper motivation, and that is for Libras. Being well liked is not merely just a pleasant bonus, it's a vital necessity to living their life. Their attunement to social harmony on a grander scale, too, makes them exquisitely sensitive to moods and judgments around them. That's why I said I think they are so highly intelligent, because not only are they intellectually smart, they also bring an emotional awareness. They have very high EQs. They know when the mood has changed, when the temperature has changed, even by 1 degree. Libras know it. And so they can see the judgments of people around them. They really can. They're very, very talented this way. They can read a room. So to charm someone, right, to flatter someone, to openly admire someone is literally how they foster connection. Yes. And it's how they soften the world's hard edges. It might be how they soften your hard edges. Like, don't come at me. I really like you. And to ensure that conflict rarely can root into their lives. It's how they keep conflict away. It is how they keep conflict away. Don't hate them for that. That's their defense mechanism. That's their weaponry. So every dazzling smile and every effortless compliment is both a shield and a bridge. Yes. And it is a shield against rejection, and it is a bridge to mutual understanding and getting you to let your guard down, to be kinder. But beyond the drive to be admired or liked, Libras genuinely, sincerely believe in the mega power of beauty and kindness to elevate ordinary moments into something extraordinary. And their charm is not always calculated. Actually, it's just instinctive. It's literally their instinct. Mm. It's a way of weaving warmth into the fabric of daily life. And when Libras charm others, they're quite quietly maintaining their equilibrium, and they're securing their place in the hearts of many. And this ensures, if only for a moment, that their world spins a little more smoothly. So don't hate them. Don't hate them for their charm. They do mean it. Their charm is not fake, but their charm can seem fake, but their charm is not fake. They usually do feel the very thing they're saying. They just they can more easily express it than other signs. So let's talk about their emotional detachment. However, they are an air sign, and air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, are detached. This is the least detached of the 3 signs, but they are still detached. And I have a lot of Libras in my life. Oh my God. So I want you to think about, do you have your moon? Do you have your sun? Do you have your rising? Do you have your Mercury, Venus, or Mars in Libra, or do you have a lot of those planets in the seventh house? Because if you do, you probably have been accused of being a little cool, aloof, or detached. So Libras with this air sign, they're gifted with intellect, and they're also gifted with objectivity, but sometimes at the expense of emotional depth, right? A lot of Libras do not seem emotionally very deep, but they are. They can analyze their feelings from a distance or from above, from a place of objectivity, discussing love in theoretical terms rather than in their own raw emotion. So, for partners who create, like a Scorpio, a Pisces, or a Cancer, who crave a deep, passionate connection, the cerebral approach to love can feel cold or even dismissive, leaving them to wonder if their love is even truly reciprocated. This isn't just for sexual love either, or just a concept to be, is their love just a concept to be weighed and balanced constantly? And so at the root of Libra's emotional detachment lies their devotion to balance and to reason. So Libras, of course, as an air sign, gives them the gift of clarity of thought, objective perspective, and a tendency to really rationalize rather than simply feel. And they don't want to just simply feel. They need it to be, they want to rationalize everything. And they approach the complexities of love and relationships like an artist studies a canvas, or an artist studies a nude model to sketch, stepping back and analyzing the brush stroke and seeking symmetry and beauty rather than plunging into the pure chaos of raw, risky emotion, right? They are trying to paint a canvas of love inside their relationship with you. So it means that they keep their love at arm's length, preferring to observe and dissect rather than to be swept away. They don't want to be swept away. Vulnerability to them can feel destabilizing, and it can threaten their delicate equilibrium, their balance, right? Like, oh, I'm out of balance, by measuring their responses and weighing their words. And yes, they do. They weigh their words, and they create this buffer zone between themselves and the unpredictable tides of their feelings, your feelings, our feelings, the feelings. And so for some, this detachment, this process from Libra, where they stop, they calculate for the right emotional reaction, may seem cold, but what it really is self preservation. And it's a way that they can make sense, they can intellectualize the intangible. What is the intangible? Everything that you cannot touch, the feelings. And so this is what's crazy. They long for this deep connection, yet they fear the disarray that comes from losing themselves in the heat of the passion of that very connection. So rather than risk these like emotional extremes, the imbalance of these emotional extremes, they opt for measured affection, appropriate affection, gentle companionship, and a love that is both graceful but guarded. Yeah. So I would say the next thing is their people pleasing patterns. At heart, we know that Libras want to be liked, and they often go to great lengths to ensure everyone is happy, everybody is good, sometimes sacrificing their own values in the process, sometimes not even being in. Do you know how many Libras I know that are not even in touch with what they feel? And when they're mad, they have to call a friend and say, do I have a right to be mad? Am I a mean person because I'm really mad at this stupid thing that happened? They don't even know. They're not even aware of what their own needs and opinions are when they're really, really unhealthy. Remember, I am talking about the unhealthy Libra right now. So if you want to know the virtues, go watch my video, How to Fall Madly in Love with a Libra, or 10, I think it's 10 ways you can get a Libra to fall madly in love with you. But when loving a Libra, you might find the relationship is populated by ghosts of their various obligations, the friend that they can't say no to, the ex that they still advise and coach and counsel, the family that they are forever accommodating. It is endless cycle of appeasement. Being with a Libra is an endless cycle of appeasement, and it can be downright disgusting because they can leave their partners feeling secondary, yearning to be their priority. And it can be so bad as how do I say this? Let's say you're involved with a Libra partner, and your Libra partner, your love, your husband, your wife, your forever partner has children, their own children, not yours. And you see that Libra appeasing their children who have a different belief system and a different value system because they're also raised by their mother. And so they're indoctrinated into a religion or even into politics that your partner doesn't even believe in, but your partner appeases them and does not reveal what they really feel just so they can have a relationship with their children. Because if they didn't appease them, then they feared that that relationship would go away or that they would not be liked. And so they start looking like a bullshit con artist when really it's this appeasement. And this can just be infuriating to live with, a person who constantly has to appease others, hiding what their real opinions are because their real opinions would create conflict and then they would not be liked. Oh, just be willing to not be liked. Just be willing to not be liked. Do you have some Virgo? Do you have some Sagittarius? Do you have some Aries? Do you have some Aquarius or Capricorn in your chart? Or do you have some Scorpio? Because those signs are more willing to just not be liked. So I'm telling you, this need for harmony plays out in the relationships. And it's like, just imagine them on their phones constantly doing appeasement, 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 right? And you want their undivided attention and they can't give it to you because they have to appease their family. They have to serve others. And they are the most likely sign to be codependent. Libras and Cancers are the most likely signs to create codependency because they have these external needs to be loved and to be liked. And so Libras have to have courage to get honest with people. And it's when they are willing to rock the boat that they can build healthy, authentic relationships that are genuinely and truthfully fulfilling. Libras are usually filled with good intentions, not malice, but they are overextended inside their relationships, appeasing everyone. And if you're wanting their attention, you could get sidelined. If they feel like your love is a really secure love and you're going to give them a break, they could easily sideline you, right? To prioritize somebody else who they need to appease or help in order. And they are tirelessly trying to keep their entire world in harmony, not wanting to upset anybody, wanting to be all things to all people. It's exhausting. And you might feel like, I have to do for you and you and you and you and you. And I want to be liked and I want to be loved and I want to be admired and I want to be adored. And I don't want anybody to be upset. And I don't want anybody to be mad. Let them be mad. Let them be mad, right? It's okay. If it's going to give you like a little bit of time off, let them be mad. Libras struggle with that though, because then Libras will suffer from just this god awful feeling and they will obsess over it. It's okay if they're mad at you just for a little bit. It's okay. You're not a horrible person. So I'll tell you another really hard thing. This is number 6, the avoidance of difficult decisions. Not only do Libras hesitate just making choices, but they also avoid making them altogether, like won't make them at all if the price is too high, rather than risking hurt or disappointment or ruining or wrecking something. They will just drift along, maintaining the status quo, doing nothing at all, doing absolutely nothing at all. Even when it doesn't serve them, they would rather do nothing than rock the whole boat and tip the whole boat over. And the reluctance can trap both people in the boat, right? That state of limbo, that state of nothingness can just create prolonged pain instead of seeking resolution. Like they won't tell the person the truth about something because it's going to hurt them. So now you're held captive in them not taking action. And if you are not an enabler, you will refuse to do their dirty work for them. Yeah. So this tendency actually arises from this deep rooted desire for harmony and this enormous fear that if I cause discord, I will be hated. And so Libras are, again, finely attuned to those feelings and perspective of those around them. And they're oftentimes weighing every single possible outcome before they make a choice. These are the high critical thinkers. These are solution oriented people. So you have to realize that Libras understand if they say yes or no to a certain path, that it is going to eliminate all the other options. So if I say yes to this path, I'm going to take this job and I'm going to move to Montreal, Canada. Woo! love Montreal, Canada, then I'm saying no to living a life over here. And it's going to block me from all these things that I could have if I don't move. Right. And so the pain of that saying yes or no obligates me to possible chaos, which is the opposite of balance. And this creates like an unharmonious lifestyle living situation. And then I moved to Montreal and I give everything up for that. And I end up hating my life. So therefore, I'm not going to do that. So then I'll stay here. And then I don't have the opportunities of the adventure and the excitement of the Montreal option. And so then I end up hating my life. And so this limbo is how they actually sabotage their whole entire life, their whole entire happiness, their relationships, and they live in the gray matter of life. And it is so freaking painful because then they just daydream. They just daydream their lives away. I could have done A, I could have done B. And then they run through, wow, what B would have gotten me, what A would have gotten me. But I'm not doing any of that. I'm doing C, D, or E, and it sucks. Mm-hmm. Mm. Very thirsty work. Yes, very thirsty work. If you want to understand Libra more deeply or just your chart more deeply, I really recommend you get my Soul's Design report. It is so, so good. And if you want to understand your relationships, I have a marriage report and I have a lover's report and I have a lover's package and I have a soulmate package. Oh my God, they are so good. They are so deep. And they talk about all the conflicts in your relationship and all of the virtues and the beautiful, beautiful soulmate connections and the things that are just so virtuous and lovely about your relationship too, and what the other person needs and thinks, their perspective, and then what you need and think and your perspective. And I'll tell you, astrology is just like fast-paced counseling. Like in one reading, you can get out of that, like what you could get. This one man told me, you might have heard this already, me say this. He had a very hard situation and he was dying of HIV. And this was, he contracted HIV in the 80s. And by the time he found me, it was the late 90s. And he just said, Meredith, I've been in therapy for 17 years. And this one session with you helped me more than the 17 years of my just bogus therapy. And I'm not saying every therapy is bogus because it isn't. I have a lot of therapists that I love and respect as clients and in their work. It was just for him. He was just going in circles. And astrology can really, really help you in finding solutions and answers, motivations, and understand yourself very, very fast. I'm not saying you shouldn't do therapy, but that was his quote. And I have to tell you, I really have a high respect for therapists that are really good at their job. And I do think getting a reading is great and using it simultaneously with therapy. So you could do the longer, slower work with your therapist and get a fast dose of deep understanding of your psyche, your soul. Why are you born to live? Why do you exist? Why are you programmed this way? Right. And so working with the two is a great combination. But if you do want a reading, you can just click book a reading at teamsoulnavigation.com and you can see my team of readers. And you can also, of course, get on my schedule too. I have a little bit of a wait, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Or you can get a reading with Connie, Joe, or Stacy from Team Soul Navigation. They are wonderful. They usually have a little quicker availability, but go check us out at soulnavigation.com. Let's talk about the external, the burden, I should say, of needing the external validation in such a high degree. Libras are artists at heart. They really are. They have high aesthetics. They love art. They love beauty. They love fashion. Usually they have high aesthetics and they have a keen eye for beauty and balance in all things. And they make great photographers, makeup artists, colorists, interior designers, fashion designers. They make great directors. They can combine the intelligent world with the emotional world into art, bringing intelligence and emotion into very deeply moving art. But and I'll tell you, and this manifests in gestures of elegance and thoughtful gifts, and it means they can hold themselves and their partners to impossibly high standards. I want to tell you right now about my friend Richard. And I'm not joking. My friend Richard is 96 years old. He was just 1 year ago when he was 95. He was walking 5 miles a day. This man is dressed to the nines. This man is impeccably dressed, well-mannered. I love Richard so much. But recently his wife, and he is a dear friend of mine, and we just went to this restaurant in Phoenix, Arizona. If you've ever been, it's called Greek Town, and it is so amazing. I have to give it a plug. If you're in Phoenix, go to Greek Town to celebrate your 100th birthday or your 50th birthday or whatever birthday, your anniversary, your baby shower, whatever. Oh my God, George runs the place, and it is just so fantastic. It's in the heart of Phoenix. It is beautiful. Anyways, Richard, I went with Richard and some of my friends, my older friends, to this dinner at Greektown, and he was just absolutely adorable. A year ago, he had to be put into an assisted living care facility, but oh my God, he is such a dandy. He wore red tennis shoes, red suede Adidas tennis shoes, and he wore a red and white striped sweater. I know, but it was kind of tight fitting, and he wore flat front pants with a belt, and he has his silver hair. He's a silver fox, let me tell you. He is handsome. He is 96 years old. He is so handsome. He is so elegant and graceful. And I said, "So what game are you playing now, Richard?" And he said, "Oh, I'm beating everybody at Rummy Cube." And I said, "How do you play?" He says, "I'll teach you. I'll teach you." He's smart. And all the women fuss over him, and his wife is so cute. She picks him up every day and they go out together, but he just isn't stable enough on his feet. So I said, "Are you still walking your 5 miles?" He said, "Oh darn, I had to give it up." But I'm going to get to say that I have worked out every single day of my life, and he's very svelte. He's a very handsome gentleman. And he was born in the 20s, I think, the late 20s. Anyways, like 1928 or something. It's crazy. And he is just so darling. I love him so much. Anyways, Richard was immaculate, and I was just so proud of him for, being 96 and going to dinner and having fun. And I said, "What's your secret sauce for living a life?" He said, "Well, today it's riding the bicycle 8 miles a day and drinking my wine." So basically, it's staying happy. And when we were at this restaurant, Greektown, sorry for my diversion, it's just such an adorable, cute story. We were there, and all of a sudden, George comes out of the kitchen. He's like, "Oh, we are here to celebrate Charlie." And I'm like, "Charlie? Wow, what's going on?" He said, "Charlie is a veteran." Oh my God, he was the neatest man. He was the neatest man. And Charlie had served in World War II, and he had served in the Vietnam War and the Korean War. He was a three-time war veteran. Anyways, guess what? He was turning 104. Yes, 104. And he got up, and he and Richard walked over there with his walker, and because he's a little unsteady on his feet right now, I didn't know he was using a walker. He hates the walker. He thinks it makes him look bad. But he's a Libra. And he gave Charlie the biggest hug, and he said, "I'm going to be like you," with the exception of going to war. He didn't go to war, but he said, "I'm going to be like you, 104." And I'm like, "Richard, it's not that far away." So hopefully I'll go back next year. It will actually in October and celebrate Richard's birthday at Greektown. It's a great place. Anyways, I want to tell you, Richard is like the ideal. He is the ideal 96-year-old. He is handsome. He is smart. He is charming. He is endearing. He is so cute. But if I was to ask him, "Richard, where do you want to go to dinner?" He would look at his wife, also my very good friend, and he would say, "What do you want to do, honey?" He doesn't want to be held responsible if the meal goes wrong or the place isn't right, right? So I will say they do have impeccably high standards for themselves, and they can become the idol. Like, I kind of idealize Richard. I really do. I love him. I want to be like him. In many ways, he's better than even I am at this age. Like, he's so dedicated to his workouts, and he really puts peace at the forefront of his life. And I think that is why he has lived so long. But he, not him, but Libras, back to Libras, they may idealize romance, yearning for a love story that mirrors their aesthetic dreams. And when reality fails to deliver those ideals, the disappointment is it's a five-alarm fire, right? It sets in, and their partners can feel like just heartbroken that they are not good enough for the Libra. And so Libras cannot deal with their dreams dashed or with their loves squashed or with life not panning out the way they have dreamed it up to be. They are the great idealists. And so they also search for this idealism through their relationships, but through the things outside of themselves. They don't usually idealize themselves, but they have an ideal of what they should be and what life should be and what their partnership should be. And so they kind of search for that ideal, and they search for external validation too. And that's what we were originally talking about. But affirmation from others, especially others that they idealize, is literally like the sunlight pouring into their veins. It is the nourishment, it is essential vitamins. They want people that they love and admire or adore or even like to validate their lives. And they search for this endlessly. And even within inside a committed partnership, they unconsciously look forward or outward to reassurance, and they crave likes and compliments and subtle signs and grand gestures of approval from friends and strangers alike. So this need can make friends and strangers alike be close to them, right? Because they will use the form of flattery sometimes to get validation. And this need can make their partner feel less like a soulmate and more like a voiceover, in an audio book. So the Libra's delight in being admired is not malicious, but it can stir the insecurities of those who want to be the primary source of their beloved's confidence. So let's talk about the difficulty that Libras have in expressing their true feelings. They don't like really expressing their true feelings. And though Libras thrive in social settings and can talk for hours about abstract ideas, they sometimes really struggle to um, say what their innermost emotions are, and their words can kind of skim the surface because they also want to avoid the messiness of vulnerability. Are you guys noticing a pattern? All signs avoid vulnerability. They just do it differently. That is a human condition. I hope so much you are hearing the pattern. And I hope you're listening to this theme. Oh, I should say to this whole series, because you'll really understand the hidden motivations of self-sabotage through this series that I'm doing, The Pain and Pitfalls of All 12 Zodiac Signs. But I want to ask you something. Would you please like this video, comment on this video, and share this video, even if you're sharing it to yourself? Please share this video because I don't know why. And become a subscriber. It really helps me grow my channel. And since I've been asking you guys to do it, my channel has grown a tiny bit, not much, but a little bit. And I will just tell you that I noticed when I looked at the analytics that 60%. Now it's about 58% because more people have been subscribing, but it's almost 60% of my viewers are not subscribed. It's free and it helps me so much. Also, I do deep, genuine, real, authentic astrology that takes off the mask and goes way beyond the textbook. And so if you're interested in going way beyond sun sign astrology, learning with me will give you that. So if you could just say a thank you by liking this video and becoming a subscriber, it would mean so much to me. I would also like to ask you to join my channel because it puts at the lowest level, it puts 10 cents into my pocket. And we do masterclass. We do master classes, and you get them for like 90% off if you are, and you get them for free if you become a superstar super supporter. So when you join the channel, you get to learn more deeply with me. And I do occasional behind the scenes videos that nobody else gets to see, which I think I'm going to do. I'm going to do the charts on a deeper dive, charts on some people in the world that are how do I want to say it controversial. And I'm going to just put that up for my members only. Also, we have members only parties where we do cold readings just for members. So your membership is a way to put that 10 cents into my pocket to keep my lights on and allow me to have an editor. And I need to get more members so I can hire my editor again. And I know you will appreciate that because these unedited videos, I know they can be kind of annoying. They don't go quite as fast. Anyways, I would be so grateful if you would join this channel. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for supporting my work. And I hope so much that you feel like I've invested in you too, with more than 2,000 videos now for you to take part in. Anyways, let's get back to Libra. So Libra lovers can feel locked out of Libra's private world because they have a difficulty, Libras have a difficulty expressing the honesty of the unguarded like confessions and spontaneous outbursts of passion. They won't do that. So are Libras liars, right? Just like lies of omission, kind of. But they are not they are not the liar that popular belief would have you think. And I think that it arises this comes from this are Libras liars kind of, if people think they're really lying, it comes from a misunderstanding about their true nature. And so this sign is rarely, associated with just, raw dishonesty or maliciousness. But their unique approach to relationships and communication can sometimes blur the lines between truth and omission and diplomacy. And so this can be very confusing. Libras are not lying for personal gain. They are not lying to scam you. They are lying to avoid conflict. And and I shouldn't even say lying. They are fibbing. They are stretching the truth. They are omitting what they really think. They're not telling you exactly what they think because they want you to like them. And remember, that is their sunlight. That is their vitamin D. I feel like they abhor upsetting people. They just cannot even handle it. And if they sense that the truth will wound you or provoke discord or hurt you for life, they might choose a gentler, less direct approach, like ghosting you, right? The Libra parts in me would rather you break up with me than I break up with you, because I know I'll get over it eventually, even though it will sting and hurt. I would rather sting and hurt myself than sting and hurt you. And that is a genuine truth about Libra, because if I hurt you, I can find no peace in it. If I'm hurting, I can eventually come to peace with it. Isn't that crazy, sick, and a little bit twisted? Yeah, but it is true. Libras need connection. They need affirmation in their life. They need to be affirmed. And so they have that drive for external validation, for affirmation. And so how they kind of create another little fakeness or fib is they present themselves in the best possible light, which isn't always the true or the truthful light. And they tailor their words and their actions and how they dress to fit your expectations. What do you expect of me? And I will be that. This is the cerebral chameleon, where Pisces is just the chameleon. This is the cerebral chameleon that has strategy attached to it. So I will be exactly what you want me to be. So you will affirm me. And it's more like, is their charm a lie? No, it's not a lie. But and it doesn't even have the intention to deceive, but it does sometimes rob them of authentic expression. And if you want authenticity, let's hope you're dealing with a really healthy Libra. A really healthy Libra, a little later in life, has learned that expressing their true emotions is healthier and gives them better results than just this flattery or just this affirmation. And okay, I have this Libra in my life who had a pretty big Instagram account, and I complimented her on it, and she feels very close to me. And I was happy that she could like share with me the truth about her Instagram account. She said, Meredith, I just want you to know every single one of those million followers is fake. Mm-hmm. I was like, what? And she goes, yeah, I really effed up because they're all fake followers. If I make a post, I'll only get 2 likes. And so I really like shot myself in the foot, but I need that Instagram handle because that's my unique name and I can't let anybody else have it. And now I'm in this circle of like nobody's seeing my content because I faked it. Now, did she do that maliciously? No, she didn't do that maliciously. She was trying to grow her platform and it came out of the need, right? Of the original young person's need. Now she's a little older and wiser of, even if it takes like a little bit of fabrication, getting those likes is really, really important. And it complicated her life. Yeah. So I like that she told me that. And, I think she thought it was going to make things sweeter and better, and it didn't. And Libra usually finds out the hard way. Yeah, they do. So let's talk about the next thing. What makes it really hard to be involved with a Libra is just the gravitational pull of the social light world. Yes, Libras are social butterflies, just like Geminis, and they are enlivened. They light up over gatherings and parties and friendships and circles of friends and important people and fancy places to go and the opera and the ballet and the rainbow room on the top of the tower. And yeah. And so their calendar is often full and their attention is spread far and wide. And for a partner that really needs exclusivity and intimacy and depth, this can create feelings of deep neglect and envy. So time together could be really precious and fleeting, interrupted by Libra's endless desire to connect and be seen, to see and be seen. And they do have very, very, very serious FOMO. Yes. Fear of being alone, fear of missing out. Yes. And they are relationship oriented at their core level. This sounds like they don't want no, they want relationships, even sometimes to a fault. And the prospect of solitude is daunting and scary, and aloneness is just like blah, unsatisfying, right? Sometimes you will feel like, am I just picked because you don't want to be alone? Are you just going out with me tonight because you just don't want to be alone? Libras don't really know how to be alone. They have to learn how to be alone. Remember that. Yeah. So figuring out if a Libra is with you out of true desire or simply because they dread their own company, they dread the deep, dark black hole, the void, right, within themselves. Loving a Libra means facing the haunting possibility that their heart is ruled not just by love, but by the fear of love's absence. I want you to chew on that like taffy. Yep. Unhealthy Libras can really struggle with envy. They really can, with what other people are doing, other people are going. They measured their relationship with your relationship. And envy can really be the downfall of Libra's relationships. And when Libras are celebrated for their grace and their easy rapport, their charm, don't think that they're not immune to envy. They really, they really have like an unhealthy relationship to comparison, like a myriad of comparisons between friends, between lifestyles, keeping up with the Joneses, romantic attachments, like her husband's more handsome than my husband, whatever. The constant circulation of social spheres can sometimes stir the feeling of longing or subtle jealousy or envy, especially if they sense that others are more admired and more included than they are. Like, why didn't I get an invitation? Why'd they invite her and not me? Why'd they invite him? Why is he going? He's half as funny as I am. He's half as charming, half as cute, half as endearing. What's going on? I have to be more. I have to be better. And they also, like Virgos, they chase perfection, like they chase idealism. They chase beauty and idealism. And I will tell you though, you won't really see a Libra's envy overtly because high EQ, high emotional intelligence, Libra's response is not going to be dramatic. Instead, it may manifest a quiet dissatisfaction or a renewed effort to charm and re-engage. Yes, are you listening to this? I am giving you the Libra secrets of the shadow. And it's kind of embarrassing to even do so because it's just so gory, right? It's just so gory. But I think if you understand this about Libra and you don't use these things in this series where I'm talking to you about the shadow of all the sides, don't use them against the person, but instead use them to grow compassion and empathy and love for all the signs. Because this is very, very, very painful for Libra. And I'll just tell you that these pangs of envy are less about being a malicious, raging biatch and more of a reflection of their profound, profound desire and need to be accepted and to belong, to be wanted and remembered. This is Venus, to be desired. That is the sunlight that they're looking for to go into their veins. So when they are faced with the feelings of envy, Libras internalize that emotion and they redirect themselves into, are you ready for this? Self-improvement, cultivating new connections. I don't need them. I've got better friends. And sometimes it's as awful as, oh, I'll go get lip injections, or I'll go get a facelift, or I'll change my beauty. I will, right? And it's more and more and more and more and more. I cannot wait to do some of my members only behind the scenes controversial people in this world today and show you their charts and show you some of the unhealthy versions of this whole entire series. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to do it, but I'm going to make room. I am going to make room. Anyways, I love that you're learning with me. I really do. And I want you to know that. And it's exciting to teach you. And I am having my next in-person workshop the third weekend of May in 2026, right here in Seattle, Washington. I am just so excited about it. I can't wait to meet you if you want to come learn deep astrology. I have room for 55 people. And this is going to be, I think, my fourth year. This is going to be my fourth year doing it. It sells out every year. So grab a ticket. You can go to shopsoulnavigation.com and go check out what I'm teaching, where it's at. It's going to be it's a transformational retreat and workshop. We study all day and then we play at night. I'm sure you've seen some of my shorts or some of my videos on it. It's so exciting. Anyways, let's get back to this. So Libras really stretch their own boundaries, like by balancing the wish to be everywhere with everyone while still yearning for the reassurance that they too are super valued and loved. And they can exhaust themselves by wanting to be liked by everyone. So they accept party invitations to everything, your baby shower, your birthday, you're this, you're that. And these are the people that could go out 5 days a week easily. So let me just tell you, to love a Libra is to navigate a garden of delights. Yes, where every moment is tinged with grace and every word is measured and every gesture is considered. Yet within the beauty lies this subtle ache, the pain of waiting for them to make up their minds, or wondering, or this pain of striving for harmonious, I should just say harmony, that sometimes always is out of reach. And Libra's love is a gentle paradox where it's profound and elusive, and it's comforting and it's confounding. But for those who choose to stay, who learn to read the nuances in their Libra love balancing act, the rewards can be really extraordinary. The pain becomes a part of the dance, a necessary like tension that gives shape to the absolute softness of Libra's affection. And I should say, in embracing Libra's complexities, we discover not only the challenges of loving a Libra, but also the quiet ecstasy of being cherished by a soul who is forever striving to make life and to make love a little sweeter, a little more beautiful, a little bit more harmonious. Yeah. I hope you've liked this Libra video. the pain and pitfalls of loving a Libra. And I hope that you're loving learning astrology. Keep on your journey. There is room for everyone in astrology. And I just want you to know, wherever you're living at in the world, I'm so happy my video found you. So from my house here in Seattle, Washington, United States, I wish you the very, very best, and take good care.